Welcome in to your regular season finale for the Stanford Cardinal. At home in Palo Alto, we face our rival in the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, but we're also looking to celebrate an extremely good group of seniors. We and Coach Barrington were extremely lucky that this group of seniors, a lot of these guys choosing to stick around from last year, and that includes QB1 in Gordon Draft. Now, unfortunately for him, this has not been a great season. He is currently 200 under his lowest full-time starting throwing stats coming from 3 years ago. He's thrown the most amount of interceptions he has in a season. Now, right now, that completion percentage is a little bit lower, so I'm sure he's looking to end on a high note. Additionally, we got key seniors starting at running back Larry Sulai. At tight end, your back-to-back best tight end of the year goes to Emmanuel Gomez. The only senior up front, Ben Cortez, your left guard. And the most decorated Cardinal in potentially Stanford history, Cassius Sampson. He won the Heisman a couple seasons ago, though chose to stick around his junior year, not winning the Heisman despite arguably having a better season. This year, his stats are a little bit behind, but still, he is a one-man wrecking crew. And of course, the linebackers, starting with Kiki Harulahu. You also have the hometown kid in Oscar Coley, and sticking around till his last year to finally get his time to shine, James Tuttle. And rounding out your group, Darren Sr., the senior. And in the secondary, another player who could have looked to go to the league early on, Alex Marcotte. He's never really been much of a stat kind of guy, but he locks down half the field. And rounding out your starters, Max Schlegel, who honestly has been such a key player for us, and he didn't even fully grow during his time here. He's been a secure tackler, rarely leaves players open. He will be missed. And past the seniors, you do have to wonder if some of these juniors also look to go. And perhaps even a redshirt sophomore in Virgil Rowland, currently the highest rated receiver in college football. All that to say, we want to come out and dominate this game. But Notre Dame won't make that easy on us, especially with their 6-game win streak here smack dab in the middle that resurrected their start. They opened up the season with a solid win versus Cincy, but when they came to ranked opponents, they'd fall to 1-2. It wasn't until this USC game that they even picked up a top 25 win. But that would also be their only top 25 win, losing to current number 1 Ohio State 20-13. And what you'll notice taking a look at their entire schedule is they play in a lot of close games. 7 one-score games. While we would love for this to be an easy celebration of our seniors, we've got to come ready to play. As we're underway, Senior Day, your regular season finale, as Bargava will take it down the middle, fighting for some extra yards. It'll be close to the 25, where the Stanford Cardinal offense can hit the field. A lot of really special players on this offense, facing a defense with a fantastic front four. Though good block and play one, Larry Sulai will trot forward for a gain of 13. He's still needing around north of 250 to reach that 1K mark. Though with the playoffs, who knows? He could hit that. At the 37 will be a play action roll. Look for a late check down, held on to by Kramer. He did have to withstand a pretty strong hit there. Early movement down the middle. The nose tackle jumps. Cortez then jumping off of him. That will set up the Cardinal with a second and mere inches at the 47. Tight group here, though. Safety's just sitting about 10 yards deep as they'll look for some play action. Looking downfield, Virgil Rowland gets laid out by the safety. Plus a flag. We had an ineligible man downfield. Come on, it was a deep ball. It's one thing if we were running a screen there, but that was a deep ball shot the whole time. Not sure what Robinson was doing there. 2nd and 5. Throwing under pressure, a diving grab for Vallejo. And Draft, he's had to throw the last couple under pressure. Cardinal now plus side 47. They go back to Larry Sulai with a little juke. He's got another first down. So far, the Cardinal opening up a lot of space up front here. Now down to the 37, and again, we've got some early movement coming from the left outside linebacker. Already 2 penalties here on Notre Dame, and it looks like Draft, he sees something he likes. He's making a couple changes out there. Pistol ace formation, 1 deep safety, but off coverage. They go with some play action, and they're looking for their tight end. Gomez, back of the end zone. They say caught out of bounds. Gomez doesn't seem to agree, and he's going to get Coach Barrington to toss that challenge flag, so we'll take one more look. It is close. The right foot is what we're looking at, but we need a much better angle than that. Doesn't appear, though, we are going to get it. So taking a quick look for ourselves, and we will agree with the referee there. Not even a heel down inbounds. They look to go to the screen here, out to Larry Sulai. A couple blockers out in front. We needed one more out in front. But Larry Sulai, he's putting in some early work here. We're down to the 23 with 2 spread either side. And we've got an opening. Vallejo with another diving grab. Great job from the receiver. If Draft puts that just a little less touch, we get that on the run, we might be looking at a touchdown here. 1st and 10. An under pressure Draft will roll into the right end. Everyone was flooding that side, unfortunately not able to get around the blocks. Larry Sulai, though, with some space, he'll pick up about half. Well, that still leaves the Cardinal a little bit behind the chains here. 3rd and 7, they're at the 9. Hard count this time, no one jumps. They've got Virgil rolling with the spin. They're going to mark him down just short. And already losing a timeout due to the challenge. Coach Barrington will call another. 4th and inches. The offense stays on the field. And they hand it off to Babineau. He's got the first down to the 2. Tito Gash, the linebacker, brings him down. But it's goal to go for the Cardinal. As they stick with that same look, Larry Sulai. He ran through 1. He, however, will not run through the remainder. Gets us inside the 1, and it's Draft's formation here. Roland in motion. As he will keep it, has to make one man miss or take him into the end zone. Cardinal end a strong first drive with 6. And it came with a challenge failed and a 4th down conversion. And we've got to leave some massive props for the O-line on that drive, consistently opening up massive gaps. Now it's to the defense. Can they keep up with what we just saw from the offense facing a rival? As they've got motion here, they're looking for the jet sweep. Oscar Coley, he shuts it down with help of Darren Sr. A very fitting first play of defense with 2 seniors making the play. That's how we celebrate today. With a 2nd and 10, they're bringing the blitz. Cassius Sampson a little late, and a sliding grab from Greg Stern. Sets up a 3rd and inches. Full house look. Will be play action, and it's going to be picked off. Alex Marcock, the senior, gets the pick, tries the spin move, taken down at the 15. His speed is just on a whole other level. It was an open throw for Harris, but he didn't account for the speed from Alex Marcock to undercut that route, giving the Cardinal the ball inside the red zone. Or here in Palo Alto, should we say inside the Cardinal zone? Both are color red. You let me know what you think about that. At the 16, it's a counter. Larry Sulai tries to put on the brakes to get around 1. He does take the Cardinal down to the 6. Keeping with the same look here, 2 spread either side. No tight end out there. Larry Sulai, he bursts to the outside, and he's got another for the Stanford Cardinal. Touchdown coming off the Alex Marcock interception. It's Larry Sulai in 2 plays, giving the Cardinal a 2-score lead. But if you really want to celebrate on Senior Day, you couldn't have asked for a better start here for Stanford. Back at the 16, Notre Dame out for their second drive as they go play action across the middle and well too short for anyone to look to get a hand on it. Ty Hawley looked to be the closest defender. Leaves second and 10 here for the Fighting Irish with a tight look. Little motion into the backfield. They look for the wham block, and it opens up a little bit, gain of 4. Mike Ogden will be their primary back here today. They are missing their number 1 running back, who's been phenomenal for them. But the first quarter comes to an end there. All Stanford Cardinals so far here, 14-0 in Palo Alto. Though Notre Dame, they've had far less snaps. Stanford taking well control with theirs. As we look to get the second quarter underway, it's a 3rd and 6. Rolling into Nathan Henderson, and with that sack, he is tied with Cassius Sampson for the leader this year on sacks. And he is another junior who potentially could look to move on after this season. We'll see. Coach Barrington, he's had a lot of luck with guys sticking around, but the Cardinals start their next drive here at the 43. And trying to roll to the outside here. Looking and finding Sulai, who just could not stay in bounds. A late throw there from Gordon Draft will be a first down. Kelly seemed to be hesitant on if he wanted to run there. Decided to just let that one rip. Larry Sulai, he's trying to bounce this one again with a dominant stiff arm. He'll tack on an extra one, and where's the penalty for the late hit? Larry Sulai just driven into the blue tent on the sideline. That should be an extra 15 instead of the 31. Again, Draft, he's going to bail outside. Laying that one for Bargava. Down to about the 1, maybe half-yard line. Cardinal, they're trying to tack on one more here early on still in this game. And bring out Babineau at fullback. Draft will keep this one, flipping it out to the fullback, spinning, but not across the goal line. They're really trying to spread that ball out here. Now at the half-yard line, back to the 2 spread either side, and it will be Wesovich for the touchdown. I didn't even see that he checked in. I thought Sulai was about to have another. Running back 2 comes in here, the pure power back for the Stanford Cardinal, and gets the job done on the goal line. Cardinal now widen their lead. Make it 21-0. Still with a little over halfway to go in the second quarter. We still got a lot of ball game in front of us, as there's not much running room there. Taken down at the line by Kiki Arulahu. We'll say, gonna miss saying his name after he graduates this year. 2nd and 10. Harris, he'll look for the check down to Stern, who will get the grab, gain of 8. Don't quote me on this, but I do believe he's the only one to catch a pass today for Notre Dame. 3rd and 2. Tuttle with the big hit in the gap, flattens the running back, and it will be another punt forced. At some point, you do start to wonder if Notre Dame is going to show up to this one. The Cardinal with a chance to go up 4 scores here. They start at the 27. Draft again keeps it, flips it out late to Larry Sulai, who gets a big juke, big block as well, speeding down the sideline. He's pushed out at the 40, this time not into the trainer's tent. But another big play for Stanford here, just when Notre Dame thought they had him stopped. They're plus side of the 39 with a bunch group to the right. Looking for a potential shot play or no, they go underneath. That's going to be Ball, angling back down the middle and taken down at the 32. Setting up a 2nd and 3 for the Cardinal. Now with 2 going to the left, Ball to the right, pistol set, and some more play action. They've got their receiver. Vallejo can't hold on. Well, I guess you can't hit big on every play. Cardinal with a 3rd and 3 here at the 32. It's a tight group. Hard count. That should have been a free first down. Instead, this time held on to Bargava. That hit actually propelled him forward, taking the Cardinal down to the 15. With a bunch look to the left-hand side here. One high safety. Gordon Draft with a blitz coming at him. He throws left-hand side. He finds Gomez, taken down at the 3. Cardinal once again on the doorstep for a 4-score lead. And a great play made by the outside linebacker. Came crashing down Mike Benford. He was in position to make a play on the running back and the quarterback. Either way, would have been a big play there from Notre Dame. 2nd and goal, though. We're going to move about half the distance closer. So instead, from the 4 and inside the 2-minute warning. 2nd and goal, rip it outside, and Vallejo will tack on another to his season total. I want to say that has him around 8 touchdowns this year. His first time really seeing consistent playing time for the Stanford Cardinal. For Notre Dame, after a long season playing majority close games, you're seeing the wear and tear out there. Cardinal, they've been lucky with some of their blowouts. They've got a lot more rest this year as Stern picks up another grab. Notre Dame out at the 40. Feel like this might be the furthest downfield they've been today. We are in crunch time in the first half here, inside 2 minutes. And it is 28-0. As Harris will look to scramble here. He shakes off one before being dragged down by Henderson from behind. They'll continue with their hurry up here as we're inside now a minute and a half. Harris throwing outside with some space. Marcock will bring him down inbounds. Now they'll spread out even further at the 36. It's empty set. And the linebacker is the one coming on the edge rush, so Cassius Sampson is dropping back into coverage. With a timeout there from Notre Dame, it'll let Stanford reorganize their defense following that hurry up. As they look outside, quick on the hit is Heggie, but it does go as a completion to Cleveland. Down to the 18 inside the red zone. Quick hitter will be down in bounds. I'll have to call that timeout quickly. That leaves them 24 seconds here at the 14. And it's going to be picked off by Ty Holly. No points for you. We'll kneel this quarter out. Send it to halftime at the 6-yard line. Notre Dame, they got close, but they rushed it. If the throw was just a smidgen higher, they might have had a touchdown. But Ty Holly, he will get another pick. I believe he's on 2 or 3 right now. But as for the player to watch, it's hard to not enjoy what Larry Sulai is doing out there. 8 rushes near 100 yards, and that is just counting his rushing performance. He has a few catches mixed in here today as well. 1 touchdown in that first half. Just the Cardinal offense in general, steamrolling through the Fighting Irish. Anything they wanted to do, they pretty much could. It's a 28-point lead for the Cardinal. But Notre Dame, they get the ball first out of halftime. They need a touchdown drive here. Going with some play action, sitting back in the passing window, and a sack will come in. Split that one with Henderson, and I believe Brian Paschal as well. If my stats aren't doing me wrong, that does put Henderson leading sacker this year for us with that half a sack. Looking to set up the screen, though. They do get it outside to Hodgson, but he's not going to get very far. Actually, correction on the name. Hogden, not Hodgson. I knew it was something close, but a little bit off there. 3rd and 8. As they will look to throw the ball downfield one-on-one, Alex Marcock picks it off again. He was waiting for that one, nearly overran it. But a 3rd interception on the day for the Stanford Cardinal. And it has not been too good of a senior year for Harris, the quarterback of Notre Dame. In fact, there was speculation that the sophomore quarterback would get the start for him, who has played and arguably has played better. The Cardinal ball here, Larry Sulai cuts right, keeps those legs chugging, he picks up 3. 2 more for him, it's the century mark. As Notre Dame caught with a switch, but the pass is just a little bit off there from draft as they try to set up the screen. So 3rd and 7. Hard count should be a free play, but I don't see any yellow out on the field. And it will be broken up. Notre Dame's defense, they pick up a stop. Alan Bouchard with the breakup. But can that be a building block here for Notre Dame? Starting back at the 22, they move the ball right before half as they fake the jet sweep. A little bit of space down the middle, but not much. Ogden today, 4 carries for 6 yards. As it's 2nd and 8, Cardinal, they're going to bring down the group here. Handing it off and getting upended. It's Kiki Harulahu and a 3rd and 6. Double A gap look for the Cardinal. As they do bring a blitz, they try to set up the screen. Stern gets under Kiki, and he's got the first down to the 37. Arulahu just a little bit too wide on that play. Otherwise, it might have been a pretty easy stop. 1st and 10 here. They check it down to the running back, and he's dumped for 3. Wouldn't imagine we see too much running the ball, though, as they are down 28-0. Though, as I say that, they hand it off. He'll pick up 1, leaving 3rd and 6. Cardinal, they're trying to get off the field here, though. An empty set for Notre Dame. Here comes Sampson. A big hit, but Harris stays back there and delivers a great ball. He, at times, has shown signs of, maybe having something there. Maybe not as much for a Power 5 type. As he's got time back here, he's loading up downfield, and it's broken up. Schlegel and Marcook. I'm sure they're both saying that they each could have had a pick there. Setting up the screen, Oppo, and a great block. Nearly springs them for the first. Ogden taken down just millimeters shy. 3rd and inches as they go play action. Sampson there with another big hit. That ball will hit the turf and they will punt. So after a lot of scoring in that first half, haven't seen anything yet in the third. Starting back with the 20 is the Cardinal, as the left side just bulldozed the D-line. Good news, the second level was there, keeping that gain to a minimum at the 23. They got ball in motion. He's going to take it to the outside, follow his blocks. He's got the first down. But clearly, the plan today was to spread the ball out. They're very much doing so. Now with Thrash checking in here, innermost slot on the right-hand side, a young receiver for the Cardinal. As Draft, he tries to leak out left. DT might have saved a massive play there if Draft was able to get to the outside. Instead, it's 2nd and inches with, again, that spread empty look. They're going to Thrash. He gets 1 block, and he's got the first. Depending on other receivers maybe leaving early, Thrash might have a little bit more playing time next year. As for right now, no Cardinal, a senior at receiver. Bargava couldn't hold on. Draft try to find that quick hitter down the seam. It's at the 46 for 2nd and 10. As they just flip the look. And looking for Bargava in the end zone. And he couldn't track the ball. And that's a play you're not going to want to see brought up in film. The ball goes off of Bargava's shoulder. It should have been a touchdown. A good heave there from Draft, but it's 3rd and 10 instead. Hard count nearly gets someone to jump, as it's going to be High Point that will hit the grass. Cardinal will be forced to punt for the 2nd straight drive. All thanks to Bargava not catching the ball that literally went off his shoulder. That could have been a highlight play. Instead, a massive low light, as there's a great play from Tuttle. Kevin Salmon steps down to help get the stop. But Notre Dame's ran that a few times. Tuttle well aware. As they just get back to the line, maybe a little bit behind. Handing this one off, Ogden will pick up about 5. And now they've got to convert the 3rd and 5. That'll come after the break. We head to the 4th quarter, a scoreless third. Vastly different than how that first half went. Stanford Cardinal, though, they're trying to keep their perfect season alive. And they're well on their way to doing so. As for Notre Dame, they were really needing a big upset win in this one to propel themselves into the playoffs. Unless something crazy happens here, that will not be the case. But what will be the case is a first down for Notre Dame as Harris finds his receiver. 1st and 10, throwing outside and dropped. Only 18 catches on the year for their tight end. He's not been well involved in the offense outside of some blocking. 2nd and 10. Harris with time. He's loading up to go deep downfield. And overrunning the ball was Kevin Salmon. Stern tracked it well, and he brings the ball down at the 12. Notre Dame with a chance at points here. As they hand it off, Ogden met by Schlegel. As mentioned at the top, he's been a secure tackler, and I believe he has a skill set to make it in the league. With 2nd and 5, they go back down the middle, shaking out Pashal. Kiki and company bring him down. And that does leave another 3rd and 5 here. They could get a fresh set of downs, though, just around the 1 yard line. But instead, Kevin Salmon, he gets his pick this time, and we've got a salmon run down the sideline, 40, 30, 20, 10. No one will catch him. A salmon jump into the end zone. Kevin goes all the way from the other end zone to his end zone. The first points for the Stanford Cardinal here in the second half make it 35-0. Before this Cardinal defense, they're not going to get much of a breather. Right back out there as Sampson still has not had a sack today, at least lone sack. As we do see an injury out there, Wilkins, one of the O-linemen for Notre Dame. But I believe why we still see so many starters out here for the Stanford Cardinal is because so many are seniors. Coach Barrington let them play out their final plays here in Stanford as that throws on the money from Harris. Heggie has to take a good angle to bring him down. Anton Cleveland gets them down to the 22, and they're right back on the doorstep. With about 6 minutes left in this game, Cardinal, they're trying to keep the goose egg intact here, as it will be a tight end screen. Gotta love tight end screens. Surprisingly, Cardinal haven't ran too many of those over the last couple years. Early in Coach Barrington's time here, there were a couple, but a 2nd and 2 here as they're down to the 14. Ogden looking for a cutback lane, and again he's met by Schlegel, but as the Irish inside the 10 for goal to go. As they hand it back off Ogden, who will find some space with patience. Hits him down to the 5 for 2nd and goal, though is checked out of this game as the backup checks in. Double A gap look for the Cardinal, and that ball is free. Someone is able to get a hold of it. It is Kiki Harulahu. I'm sure Ogden is going to be on the sideline saying, "Coach, you should have kept me in. We'd at least have the ball." But he just ran into a pile of players, and that ball popped free. Cardinal keep the goose egg alive here. 1st and 10 at the 9. As it will be play action. And looking to go deep. He's got ball, and he brings it in just over the top of their corner. What a grab, George Ball. And he hits the career milestone on that one. Over 1,500 yards. What a play to do so. Cardinal, they're down to the 35 here. As it's going to be play action, rolling, and tried to check that one down late to Kramer. I guess not every play could be a highlight reel. Now they got motion into the backfield. They're going to get that one out to Virgil Rowland, who does not get the block. Maybe back to the line. They'll essentially just look to flip the formation here with 3rd and 10. They're at the 36. They've got motion yet again here, going out to Larry Sulai, who looked for the cutback lane. There was more space outside. But ultimately, we'll have to settle on a Sam Ritter field goal here. Or instead, it might look to be a pass, but Sorensen gets crushed. They had one of their linemen wide open downfield. I think Coach Barrington was trying to get a big boy touchdown. Instead, Notre Dame takes over. They're at the 42 here. And throwing for 7 yards. A good toe tapper on the sideline. Not much more than that. Clock does stop, though, as they're going downfield. Caught! Cleveland down at the 16. Heggie thought he might have had his chance at a pick. Not that time, as Harris will bounce to the outside. Taken down at the 7. Cardinal, though, they're trying hard to keep this goose egg alive. The 2nd and 1. Throwing short of the end zone and taken down at the 3. Empty set for Notre Dame on 1st and goal. They throw for the touchdown. They get one on the board. This will not be a one-score game, but it will be a one-touchdown day for Notre Dame, 35-7. That is where senior day will come to a close, 35-7. And indeed, the Cardinal were able to just come out here and celebrate a very special group of players. A couple milestones reached in that game. This group just had a perfect regular season. And by all hopes, it'll be the perfect season, looking to go 3-time Pac-12 champion and as well back-to-back national champion. But next time this group hits the field, it'll be postseason ball. We are at least secured with 2 more games left with this group of players. And as the last game comes in the regular season, we land Matt Vildor, the pass pro guard, 4-star gem from California, stealing him away from the USC Trojans. And this year, it will not be against the Trojans in the Pac-12 Championship. Instead, we see the Washington Huskies, a team that we refused to play against as we were scheduled to play them in Seattle in 3 straight years. We have not played them this year. And they played a pretty good season, going 10-2, 7-1 in conference. They're on a 2-game win streak. Meanwhile, we haven't lost a game since, I believe, Boise State last year. We are on an absolute tear. Speaking of Boise State, they finished 3rd here in the Pac-12. USC was down here at 4, despite being 10, ranked higher than Boise State, so that's a little bit interesting. As for your conference championships, this is what it looks like this year. For Conference USA, it is Minnesota and Illinois, both teams who are really trying to get back up to the Big Ten. As for the Big 12, you have Texas and Kansas State. Your MAC is Louisiana Tech and Arkansas State. Sunbelt, Florida Atlantic, ranked 23, versus Vandy. Your American Conference, number 6 Syracuse and number 8 Marshall. Why both those teams are ranked so high despite being in the American, I don't know. As for your Mountain West, looking to move back up to the Pac-12, New Mexico Lobos or Arizona Wildcats. As for the SEC, Georgia and Ole Miss, ACC, Florida and Penn State, and Big Ten, Purdue and Ohio State. Wouldn't it be funny though if Purdue beats Ohio State? We'll have to check in on that next time. But next time will be the Pac-12 Championship at Allegiant Stadium, taking on the Huskies. This is the highest point the Huskies have been at during our time here in this series. They have rebuilt and they've done a pretty good job. They'll have redshirt junior quarterback Ian Bayless. I do remember playing against him in his sophomore season, I believe. Running back wise, they got a pretty strong group of players. Receiving, maybe not the highest total, but they do still have a pretty solid 1-2-3. Their tight end in Crum is a 96 overall, plus their redshirt freshman Kevin Prescott, he's an 86 true. And hearing that we're about to play in our 3rd straight Pac-12 championship, it took a little while to get the news over to Florida. The 3-star gem kicker in Jamal Hill does end up committing to the Cardinal. That means that we are all done recruiting until the offseason, and we see how many of these juniors join the group of seniors that are all set to, probably most of them, go to the league. I feel like we didn't have that many low overall seniors. But next up will be the Huskies in the Pac-12 Championship. Do not miss it. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right, or scroll down, hit the sub button, and tap that bell icon. And beware, we're not done yet this week. We've got playoffs tomorrow. Bonus episode with the Jacksonville Jaguars AFC Conference Championship. Do not miss it over there. Do not miss it back here on Monday for another championship. And who knows, maybe Cha-Cha Vaz will find himself in a championship sooner rather than later on the show. But we'll see you back in this series in Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, trying to three-peat the Pac-12 Championship.